Per corporate policy, many hotel properties have to remodel their buildings, or at least rooms, every so many years, depending on the brand in question. Literally everything gets changed. Beds and furniture, to decor and paint trim. At this time, they were working floors from the bottom up, and were approximately around the 10th floor. So my manager is on shift, doing patrols around the building. He's like checking fire extinguishers or something. I can't recall what he was doing, but the dispatcher in the security office gets a call from one of the rooms. At first she answers, and there's no one on the other end. It's just quiet according to her. She hangs up and it rings a few moments later. She says she was reaching for the handset when the display cleared, and it only rang once. She doesn't think much of it and carries on. The room it's coming from is on the 11th floor. She then gets another call, and when she answers it, she can hear a room full of people on the other line. She told me it started to get staticky and fuzzy, and all she could hear was a faint voice on the other line say something like, "Help." She said it was hard to understand, but it cut, and she sent the manager towards the room just to be safe. As she's logging this into the computer, the phone rings again, but this time it's the emergency phone coming from the 12th floor. She answers, and can hear more static, but what sounds like a muffled party. Then a voice screams at her. "I need help." She obviously relays this to the manager. He states he was a few floors away, so he took a stairwell down instead of the elevator. When he gets to the 12th floor, the first thing he notices immediately is that it's being remodeled. Apparently the construction dudes were ahead of schedule and had moved up a few floors. This hadn't been passed on at this point. He asks dispatch what room the call came from and confirms it before heading that way. He grabs one of the lead maintenance guys on the floor because, well, safety in numbers. But also being a lead for the project, knows what rooms are being worked on by the contractor guys on site. They arrive at the room in question and it's completely torn up. The manager takes one look and radios over to dispatch that there's no phone in this room. He and the maintenance guy look at each other as the manager explains why he's up there. Keep in mind, he isn't wearing an earpiece or Secret Service style. It's just an open walkie. As he is explaining, the dispatcher radios over and says she is currently getting a call from that room. The manager can hear the phone ringing in the background. He states again that there are no electronics or anything in the room. The lead maintenance guy calls down to security via cell phone and confirms this room is being worked on and is empty when the calls come in again. She hangs up with him, puts the room call over speakerphone and attempts to radio it over so the manager can hear it for himself, since they aren't inclined to believe her. He said that he immediately turned around and left the room with the maintenance guy and said, "Fuck this, dude. We better go back downstairs because fuck this noise. They can call the police if their ass really needs help." I couldn't help but laugh at this point because I honestly didn't know what to make of it. Like, I didn't think it was funny, but that was just my defense mechanism. All I could do was laugh nervously. They simply had no explanation for what they heard, and for a phone call coming in from an empty room. Then a housekeeper walks by, and they flag her down. They start asking her about the room in question. She says she's gotten calls from the room before when it's been empty, with no guests checked in. Same thing, static and all. Amazingly, she wasn't even fazed. The phone gets replaced often by the hotel, it seems, because of guest complaints, but it never seems to go away for the hotel staff. Random calls happen to departments, and the old-timers have gotten used to either static or non-static calls. I personally try to avoid it and not go on this floor because I always felt weird there, even before today. I did have a guest one time who was staying in this said room ask me if we had timers on our curtains, because his were constantly moved during his stay. No hotel that I know of has timers on their curtains.